All right, all right, all right. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I have looked forward to this podcast for, I think we're going on about 3 or 4 weeks. We had some glitches, with getting together with Bill. But I have talked to Bill several times, and I have heard the story and how he built this up. Now, this is part of the overall theme of what I do, or the idea behind the Garage Door Heroes Facebook group and the theme of our podcast series. Right, I'm hoping that the people listening and joining on in here are interested in growing, succeeding, building, and scaling their business to get to a certain point. Right, an end in mind, or an exit strategy that says I'm not just building a job for myself. I'm not just trying to make myself busy and make some money and employ a few people. That's fine. There's a time and a place for that. But what my goal is here is actual success and wealth and stability, freedom, and impact. So Bill is the perfect example of that, and that's why I'm so excited to bring him on. I hope that you're building your business with the intent to sell. Now, that doesn't mean you have to sell, but if you build your business with the intent to sell, that means you've got your record keeping, you've got your marketing systems, you've got your other systems and organization in place, so that if something happens to you, let's just take you out of the equation, even whether it's 3 weeks or a month, like maybe you're in an auto accident and you can't function, someone has to be able to run that business without you. What if you get hurt and you're taken out completely, and this business is left to family? And I don't care if it's a spouse or kids or somebody else, or just the people running it have to be able to run it. If you've got the systems in place, that business can continue. Or your spouse might have something that can be sold. Or if you have kids that are at the right age and stage of life, they can take it over, but only if you have built it appropriately. Now, or you can sell it and ride off into the sunset, which our guest today, Bill Yuss, that's what he's doing. And it's a tremendous story. It's been a ton of fun to talk with him. So he's been 51 years in the business, and he's hit some highs and some lows. And I'm going to let him talk about it. I'm not going to steal that, but he's now living the good life, and it's exciting to see, and exciting to hear about it, and the options that he has for his future. So enough. I'm done talking. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. I want to turn the time over to you.
Well, thanks, Rob. I appreciate it so much. I'm happy to be here today, and it's an honor. It's an honor. I hear a lot about you in your podcast and what you do for a living and everything, and I'll make it real fast. I'm excited. It's just every day is a treasure, and it's a beauty, and God gives us blessings every day, and it's amazing. And it's all I got to say. And before I go any further, I want to say God is the reason for all this. He has really helped me out a lot. Okay, and guided me this whole thing.
That's terrific. I love that.
So I'm going to start out with, first of all, I love the door business. It's been in my blood since I was 15 years old. And I'm going to start off when I was 15 years old. So I'm going to work my way, and I'll go real fast so I'm not boring anybody. When I was 15 years old, I started out, I was pumping gas at a gas station because I got my license when I was 15 because my mom and dad died. So I got a hardship license to drive a car at 15. Okay. So I had to be an adult pretty fast in my life, because it was either that or work in the alleys of selling fruits and vegetables when I was 13 years old. And that's what I did in Chicago. So when I was 15, I was pumping gas for 80 cents an hour. I'm going to tell you what it was. And every night at midnight, I'd have to put the tow truck away in the middle bay at an Amoco gas station. So every night I do that. And then one night I went to put the tow truck in the bay, in the middle bay. And you know how the olden days, the tow trucks, they had those booms in the back of them, Not nowadays. Nowadays, they're all flatbeds. But in the old days, they used to have the cranes on the back of them. Well, the crane hit the top of the door, or the bottom of the garage door, because I didn't open up the garage door all the way. So wow. I dented it pretty bad, an aluminum door. So, and that was at midnight when I was locking up the place. So I didn't have no way to call the owner of the business or of the gas station. I called 4 door companies. 3 of them didn't answer. One of them said they'll come in there. It was like $400. I said, I don't get that kind of money. I only make 80 cents an hour. And this is in the 70s. Okay. So I stayed up all night until 6 in the morning. I worked in that door. I got that door not only working, but also working better than it was ever. Then when the owner came in at 6 in the morning, he asked, what am I still doing there? And I said, well, embarrassing to tell you, I hit your door. And I had to stay here all night, but I got it working. I got it secure, and I'm leaving. I'll see you later. He says, I can't believe this. He checked the door out. He said, it works better than even before. And I have no experience at all.
Right.
But I was a handyman, and I worked with my hands and tools all my life. So I know how to do that kind of stuff, tools. So 2 days later, I says, gee, Willikers, you must make good money in the door business. So a bell rang up in my head. So I went to a door company, and I worked for them for about 4 months. A door guy called Dulford Door Company in Chicago. He was nice enough to accept me as an apprentice and didn't know nothing about it. He gave me a truck and everything. So I went out to work, and I was making the money. And after 4 months, I says, that's it. I'm opening my own company. So since that day, I opened my very first company when I was 16 years old. And it was called B&L Door Company in Chicago. And I got married when I was 16 as well. I did everything young in life because, in those days, it was either get married or live in the street. So I got married, and I married a woman in Chicago, my high school sweetheart. So I got married. We had a door company. It was very successful for about 8 or 10 years. Unfortunately, my wife went through some medical problems in life because we lost a baby when we were, and so that all took a bad turn on things. So obviously we got a divorce, and that kind of tore up the business apart. So no big deal. So I brushed it off and everything's good. So then I opened up another door company. Okay. And then that started doing well. I took on a partner. My wife was my partner in the first company. Okay. Partners are great, but you got to be careful about having a partner, because when you have a partner, you don't have no control. You only have half of the control. You know what I mean? So the second business, I had a partner again. So, and I took on my old high school buddy, a friend of mine, as a partner. I'm not going to mention names, but we opened up a door company out there. It started doing tremendous, beautiful, many trucks. I mean, we were just hauling in the money. Unfortunately, he was stealing out of the company. He was gambling. Drugs came into place. It was bad, and I couldn't control it and he was having my employees go out to get drugs for him on the street. So here's my working trucks going out there into a drug dealing area and getting drugs for him. And it was so embarrassing, sad, and whatever. So I just couldn't handle this anymore. So eventually I knew I was going to have to close the company down or sell it. And I tried to sell it. We had a chance to sell it, but he didn't want to sell it because he was making good money. So anyways, then we have 3 bad employees in our company. One of them, I said, we got to get rid of him. He says, no, because he was the guy that was supplying him with the drugs. So he wouldn't get rid of him. I said, we got to get rid of him. He's bad news. He's no good for the company. Well, we didn't get rid of him. A month later, I go to Tennessee to visit family in Tennessee, because Tennessee is a beautiful state. It's a Bible country. It's an amazing country. It's just beautiful. So we went to visiting, and then I get a phone call at midnight from the police department saying they're going to go and lock up my place, my business, and they put tape around it and everything because one of my employees killed his girlfriend, and they can't find where they hid the body and They weren't sure if they used one of my trucks because so for 2 weeks my business was shut down. It's like, man, I can't handle it no more. So I went to my lawyer and said, what do I do? He said, you're the president? I go, yes, I am. He says, close it up. He said, but you got to walk away with dignity. Just walk away with nothing. Just walk away. So I says, okay, I'm doing it. I signed my name, said that was it. And my partner never talked to me again because he didn't like the fact that I shut the company down. But it was just a losing battle in Illinois between the drugs, the dealing, the casinos, the atmosphere. It's just everything. And I was fighting a bad battle. And I says, well, we were thinking about moving to Tennessee anyways. So I ended up, and that company was making a fortune of money, but a lot of it was going toward taxes. A lot of it was going toward the bad things and whatever. It was just not good. It's all I could tell you. It was just bad. And I don't want to get into details because it's embarrassing to say, and I let it happen, but I didn't. I finally called it a string. I said, I'm done. We're gonna lock this down and we're gonna close it up. So I walked away with nothing but an SUV because that's all the court would allow me to have. And the reason they only gave me an SUV is because I owed $26,000 and was only worth $25,000. That's all I had to my name.
Wow.
So I moved to Tennessee, and I says, well, I'm going to make this go, but I'm not going to have no partners or no nothing. Oh wait, let's go back a little bit further. I told my wife, I says, my new wife I married. Okay, I told her that, Debbie, I says, I'm never going to open up another door company again. I'm so fed up with it. I've had it. I'm just bad feelings or whatever. And she said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I love people, I love sales, and I love cars. So I started selling cars. I did that for 3 months. Unfortunately, the car industry was not for me because you have to be just, not always, but for the most part, you're not as honest as you should be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I just want to leave it like that and not say nothing bad. After a few months from being in a car dealership, I went to my boss at the car dealership. Right now I'm selling cars and doing good. And I told him, I said, one of my relatives are coming in to buy a car. I don't want to make no commission because I love them. They're family. I want them to come in. He took me and put his arm around my neck or around my arm, around my back. And he said, Bill, come into the office. I got to talk to you. I said, okay, what's up? He says, you know what? You got to realize your relatives are the ones you can get the most money out of. He says, you can really, and I'm like, whoa. It stabbed my heart. It's like, dude, I said, do you have family? Don't you love your wife? And I didn't say it. I says, but I'm thinking to myself, you can't do that. You got family. You love them. You don't want to kill them. You don't want to murder them. You don't want to go and take them. You know what I mean? You do it. It just wasn't right. So anyways, I came home and I said to my wife, I says, you're going to hate me. And she goes, what? I says, I quit. I'm done. I'm done in the car dealership. I have no job again. We're probably going to lose this place in Tennessee because I don't know what to do. And I says, so about a week, I slept over it. And I says, I know what I'm going to open up the door company again. She goes, what? I said, I'm opening up the door business again. But this time I'm going to open it with a 5-year plan to sell it. So I opened it up. In the first 3 months, my wife kept asking me, how many jobs you got? So I got a couple this week. Then 2 weeks later, how many jobs? I got 5. A month later, I got 6. Then before you know it, after about 4 or 5 months, I was getting 30 to 60 jobs a day, within 6 months. And the way it worked was Tennessee, they know in your heart when you're passionate about what you do, when you love what you do. And I was doing podcasts. I was doing introductions. I was going places, shaking people's hands and telling them, please, I need your business. They knew that I needed to get this job going, this business running the right way. And I had a 5-year plan. And I told my wife, I got a 5-year plan. Okay. After about 3 years in business, it was doing great. I had many trucks. I had guys. I'm making money. And I still had a 5-year plan. Unfortunately, my wife got real sick. So for 2 years, she wasn't doing very well. She was pretty much bedridden and, so I was worried about her, but I still kept the business running because I had to, but I was torn between taking care of my wife, running the business, and thinking what's going to happen in life if I lost my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, do you mind if I just pause for just a second?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us understand this. Now, Bill's hardships and the bumps in the road and the peaks and the valleys are unique to Bill, but I think we've all been there in our various businesses, right? I think I have friends that had partners that did to them, man, pretty close to what you experienced. I've had family that had partners that did to them pretty close to what you experienced. And I was involved in the foundation building of that one. And I did not like the fallout from that. I have run a business where I employed my mother, and she got sick, and she was a director in my office, and she got sick, and that was a long, hard road.
It plays a big impact in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only was it my team member, a key team member, it was my family, and my mother lost that battle, and so we went to the end of that road. And I just say that, I think a lot of us need to respect and understand that the problems and struggles that we go through are not entirely unique, and they're there to build us up. And so I just kind of want to say, I don't think any of us can look at Bill's story and go, well, that's not me. I think almost every one of us, if we've been in business and business ownership, understand partnerships, understand family relationships, understand, the peaks and valleys. So thank you for your vulnerability, Bill. Thank you for sharing that with us. Really,
it's sad, but it's not sad because there's a good ending to this. That's why you're going to hear the rest of it in a minute. But yeah, it was a sad story. But it's a shame. We go through some rough times in our life, but we can't let that let us down, because if we do, we're weak. We don't want to be weak. That's God just giving you another challenge to say, listen, can you handle this challenge? Because I got something better for you, but you got to make it through this challenge.
Right.
You got to. Don't let it get you down, because if you do, he wins. The devil wins.
Yeah, we can't allow that. We've got to fight that fight every single day, don't we?
Exactly. So you always do your best, be your best, and treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And when I came to Tennessee, I started treating people 10 times better than I did in Chicago, because the morale, the love, everything out in Tennessee is so different. I've never felt so much love as I did in Tennessee. You could leave a $20 bill at a restaurant by accident on a table, and then they'll come running out to say, is this yours? You left it or whatever. In Chicago, 12 people would have been tearing everybody down to get that $20 bill.
Well, we got to love a culture like
it's different, man. I'll tell you. So anyway, to get where I'm at, you have to love your employees. No, that's a big step. Love your employees, treat them well, and share your profitability with them. Everything, share it with them. If you don't, they're your backbone. If it wasn't for them, you ain't gonna have it. You need them, and they need you. And let them know that you love them and that you're going to take care of them. I would give them bonuses without them knowing about it. Sometimes I'll throw an extra $2,000 in their check, and they go, "What?" And they were all amazed. I go, "Well, we had a good month. I want to share it with everybody." So each one of them got a couple grand or whatever it is, and it's just like one guy even says, "I'm able to buy a washer and dryer." Another guy says, "I was able to get my air conditioner that I've been wanting." So you're helping, you're giving them a dream and giving them something to look at too. And they feel it. They do. And that's where. So after 3 years, when my wife got sick, I just had to keep going. I couldn't stop. The business was doing good, and I still had to stay on track for my 5-year program. But of course, it took me 6 years instead of 5 because of the obstacle that got in our way. But I still kept going. And then at the end of the 6th year, I decided, what am I going to do? Am I going to go and make this company larger? Because I had an option now. Everybody's telling me I'd be crazy to sell the company. They said, just make it bigger, buy the warehouse, do this, do that. Because you're making, at that point, after about the 4th and 5th year, I was in the millions. My sales were millions every year. They were the millions. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay.
Right on.
And my profits every month were unbelievable. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So, cool. So after about the 5th year, I decided, what do? Do I go and sell the company? Do I go and have my stepson take it over? Do I, you have to think, what are you going to do? Now, when you give it to your family, if they're not already in the door business, that's not a good choice in my feeling, because they've never ran a company before, or a door company. So I'd still have to stay there and run it for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where in this, if I sell it, I could just walk away and relax and enjoy life, So I chose that.
That seems like the better win-win-win answer anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it did turn out good in the long run, because my one stepson worked for me for about 2 years, and I taught him a lot in the door business, and he opened his own door company. So my knowledge was passed out to him quite a bit, I feel.
Terrific. That sounds like I'm always looking for a win-win or a win-win-win situation where everybody benefits.
So we do have somebody in the family that's in the door business and a gate and door company. So I feel like I'm part of it, even though I'm not. He's doing it all on his own. But I feel like just the knowledge alone was a great thing. I passed that on to somebody. So now that's where it comes to where I sold the company. So anyways, after 5 years, 6 years, I decided to put it on the open market. So I put the company on the market, which my whole family was not very happy about. They were a little disappointed. They wanted me to keep it in the family. They said, it's doing good. I said, but listen, you have to weigh out. Number one is I'm in my 60s. If I was in my 50s, okay, I would have leaned more toward keeping it, okay? Maybe. That's not always a good choice either, okay? And then the other thing is giving it to a family member to run is not always a good choice neither. And not unless they put money and stake into it. If they don't do that, you're in trouble, because if they don't make it, you could lose everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my number two. So number three was I'd have to go and build a warehouse. Was going to be millions. It would have cost me, but that was not a big issue. I was thinking about opening up a warehouse to store all my trucks and everything. But then I said, no. So I put it on the open market, and I had five door companies, all out trying to outbid another person on buying my company because they heard about my company. I remember I was pretty well known for Tennessee as the door doctor. In just 5 or 6 years, anywhere you go, I go to a restaurant, people go, you're Bill Yuss, the door doctor guy. Well, my one mistake I made was all my trucks I had on the back of them was a picture of me with a stethoscope. So they all knew my face. I was pretty and all my trucks looked like ambulances. So those were two things that I think helped a lot, because when you see an ambulance, you turn around like, is that the door doctor or is that an ambulance?
Sure.
Or when you see an ambulance in front of a neighbor's house, you're wondering, is your neighbor sick? No, it's just a door doctor guy. So people have more tendency to look at that truck than if it was just a regular service truck. So I had a good scheme, a good plan. I had, good employees, and so there's a lot that you have to take into factor. And there's a lot of secrets that I'm going to start sharing with people once I decide where my next plan is. And my next plan is going to be either going to individuals, businesses that are going to need help, like the bar king. What is that guy that goes survival, the bar rescue? You ever watch that TV show, Bar Rescue?
I haven't seen it, no.
Are you serious? Okay, well, anyways, when bars are going under, he would go to a bar and he would reorganize it.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
okay.
I see
it. And then, and that's what I want to do with Door. I want to go, and if somebody needs my help, maybe I'll fly to their state and give them some, within a week or two, I can give them some pointers that'll blow their mind, because I know how to make a business sellable in 5 years. And that's your plan, is if you want to sell it or if you want to just keep it and continue and bring it into the family. But you have to take the whole overall picture. You got to see what your family's like, with how old you are. So there's a lot of factors you got to put into place, before you decide that decision.
That would be a beautiful thing if you flew around and spent a week or two with a struggling company and help them see where they can tweak some things and move it forward. That would be awesome.
And I'm not looking for it to be a TV show or nothing, but I want it to be a success story where let's say you get that door doctor guy, he'll turn over within 30 days, and I guarantee I could do it. Because 50 years, I didn't learn this overnight. Believe me, it took me 50 years, but and I'm healthy, so I could still do a little bit of traveling. In fact, that's what I'm doing now. I do a lot of traveling.
So cool. There, you've already shared couple of secrets. I'm going to highlight one right now. If anybody's been paying attention in the Garage Door Heroes private Facebook group, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I made a post with a meme about we get more of what we celebrate. We do, and celebrate can come in a lot of forms, and you get more of what you're grateful for. So when you have an amazing week at work, amazing week in the shop, guys, you have whatever it is, we produced more money, our profits were better, we were more on time, and we had more satisfaction, or we got more customer satisfaction or reviews. That can come in any way. And Bill said, I shared the wealth. My people got an extra check in their paycheck. I am telling you that will go so far. That tweak in your business, you will see an almost immediate change in the mindset of your people when you share we'll call it the wealth, but when you share and celebrate their successes or the team's successes. I won't dwell on that. We'll expand on that more another time. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, that also works in another favor too. Is when you do share with them, what do? They tell their friends and other people. And when they go to pick up supplies at a door supply house, they're telling other door guys, you should really see this guy, Bill, for a door. He shares profits. So word got out to a point where I was having applications come in. You said you can't get employees. I have no problem. I had a list of people that were waiting on the doorstep to come to work for me.
There you go. Culture.
Because word of mouth and because of who you are. And it comes in a circle. It does. It comes in a circle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Sorry to derail things there. I want you to keep going.
Okay.
Let's bring it around to where we're
right.
The great.
I missed one little portion of this before we got to where I'm at, and I'm going to back up for one story. When I moved to Tennessee with nothing but my SUV, okay, my wife, I have to give her a lot of credit too, because this woman, you have to love somebody that stands behind you and supports you through thick and thin. And for about 6 to 8 months, me and her basically we were living at a hotel. That's how poor we were. We were living in a hotel, and she struggled with me, her, and the little doggy. And we were staying there 6 to 8 months until I got our Tennessee location set up. And I kept promising her it's going to work out, because in my heart, I know I got something going here. You know,
shoestring budget, but it can be done. I love it.
It can be done. And sure enough, within 4 to 6 months, we turned everything around again. But, you just have to have a wife that's very supportive and loving and understands in your heart that you mean well, and it's going to happen. Yeah.
I love it. That's cool. I'm going to look something up because I've got a comment I want to make here. Just a minute.
All right.
But you keep talking.
Okay. So anyway, so in about the 5th and 6th year, I decided to sell the company. So within a month, I've had, like I said, everybody knocking on my doorstep, and and my family saying, you're going to be sorry you sold it. I says, I'm not sorry at all. I'm going to be with my wife now. I'm going to be doing things with her. We're going to go and see things that we haven't seen before, but I'm not going to stop working. I'm still going to do stuff. And that's where I told her I'm going to be doing more ventures, which will be helping other door companies or maybe doing a schooling for the young, wanting to get into the door business. Yep. And that's where my next plan comes into but it's not going to be for about 2 or 3 months before I could tell you what I want to do, because I'm still kind of putting it all together right now. Because when I do it, then I'll go toward it, but until then, it's all just, I'm going to do one of these 5 things. That's all I can tell you right now.
I think that's fair. But, Bill's got some options, man. Bill's got some options, and he's living a great life in the meantime. And, I think we're all excited to kind of see and hear. We'll wait. We'll probably have to come back and do another podcast, Bill, when you decide.
In about 2 months, you'll know where I'm going, my direction. But right now, I'm going to be doing a lot of fishing, a lot of boating in Florida. I have a nice ocean view house with my own backyard. I have my own pool in the backyard. I have a double dock for 2 boats. I only have 1 boat, but I have a double lift dock for 2 boats, and they're working on my boat this month as we speak. So I go back and forth until they get it all ready. It's a nice regular fisherman's boat for the blue waters out there, which is very safe. It's got air conditioning below deck and everything. So I'm doing it right. Let's put it this way.
This is so great. And we've already talked. I'm going to be coming to Florida and enjoy that boat and spend a day with Bill out on the blue water. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
Oh, and I have one more thing I'm going to add into there. Which the gentleman that hired me, I don't know if you heard the story when I first started a door business. I worked for a door company for about 4 or 5 months.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Dulfer Door Company. Well, he helped me teach me a lot, just as much as I'm going to try to do right now for others. But he was a really awesome man. His name was Dave Dulfer, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling you. A gentleman is still alive till today. He's in his 80s. He came to visit me last year because he heard all about it, and he stayed with me. And he says, Bill, I knew you were an amazing guy when you worked for me. He said, I wish you would have stayed with me. You're a young 16-year-old young kid. But so he came visit me. So he was one of my visitors. And it made me feel so honored to have a guy like that that's 20 years older than me to come visit me. You know what I mean? In his 80s,
That's so cool. That says a lot. That says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And you don't want. Oh, and the other secret is your other fellow doormen shouldn't be your enemies. They should be your friends, and if they need a part, sell them part or give them a part. Don't be like, I'm not going to take, because you know why? One goes, it's going to go back around. So be nice to them, because then they'll be nice to you. And because of that, they won't say nothing bad about you, and you won't say nothing bad about them. Why? We're all here to make a living. That's all it is. So that's a big secret.
There's plenty of business to go around.
There's plenty of business. Don't go say bad things about them. Just, even if they are doing something not the way you would do it, just say it's okay. That's what they do, how they do it. What are you going to do? Because you're doing it your way. You got blinders on, and you're going forward, and you're doing what you think is right, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's bring it home. Let's talk about, Door Doctor. It was in its prime and in position to be taken over by the big dog. Let's talk about what that was like.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, like I said, right before they bought it, they came in and they looked it over, and they really loved the company. They loved the employees, because they get the employees too. Not all my employees ended up staying with them, because that's always like that during a transition, because sometimes they don't like working for a bigger company, which I understand that, but they came in from Arizona. They've owned many door companies, and mine is one of many acquisitions that they've gone through, and they're very respectable to me. They went and we had some great lunches with them. They talked about everything. In fact, they do the owner does podcasts as well. Now, he has a different way of doing things than I do, but maybe now his business, he's more how big he's going to get. And he's a young man. I think he's only in his late 30s. So it's with him, it's how big he's going to get. Which me, it was just how much love I could put into one company. Then move on. You know what I mean? So it depends which way you want to go.
Sure.
Okay, so so they ended up taking over all my trucks and my company and my employees and whatever.
How many trucks were you up to, do you think?
10.
10, right on.
Yeah, we needed we really could have gone up to 20 trucks, but I was reframing everything from getting any bigger at that time, because I wasn't able to handle it, and our location was only large enough for so many vehicles and so much business. So after you get bigger, I would have had to switch from Fusion to Service Titan, which I don't say they're bad. Service Titan is awesome. We didn't do Service Titan because it was a little more expensive, but we were at this area where that would have been our next position, is to go to Service Titan, because they have a great program, but you're paying 3 times more. You know what I mean? So it depends how much money you want to spend in the company. So with me, everything was just, do it the best you can for as cheap as you can. You know what I'm saying? So every time I would buy a new truck, I would pay for it cash.
There we go.
I wouldn't get loans. Well, I couldn't get a loan anyways, because I had bad credit in my younger days. But it's okay. I mean, Ramsey, Dave Ramsey, he'd probably be proud of me, because I did the system very close to what he would have done, or what he's done in this past. You know what I mean? Cool. Where you pay for everything. Don't take loans. Don't be at the bank's mercy, because when you're at the bank's mercy, they have you on a string all the time, and they're always in control, not you. You know what I mean?
I've never seen very many opportunities. I've never seen a bank take very many opportunities to be merciful anyway. So when we're at the mercy of the bank, it's not gonna go in our favor ever.
Right. So always try to get as little loans as you can, especially with interest. I don't know if you guys probably heard interest rates are going up again. They went up last week, and next month they're going up again. It's not looking good for the next 6 months for interest going up. So
no, it's not. So we were firing on all cylinders. 10 trucks. How many team members did you have? Like your whole team, your employees, your team, your staff?
Oh, we only had 10 or 12. I mean, I was out there working myself too. I was working just like everyone else. I was doing double shifts. I was working Saturdays and Sundays. Because you want the company to make it, and you want people to trust you and rely on you. Well, I used to have all the fire departments, the police departments, and all that. They always called our company because they knew that we're responsible. We'll come out there on a Sunday. Well, I'd have to go out there if I couldn't get one of my guys to come out there, and they're family guys. So I didn't want to bother half of my guys. So I would sneak out of the house on a Sunday, If it's before church or after church or whatever, I'd go out there and do the repair. If it's a fire truck that was in trouble, they couldn't get out, I would go and fix the fire truck or the door for the fire truck, because they need you. They can't wait till Monday. You know what I mean? So word got out that we were trusted and we were reliable and we'd be there when they needed us. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's that kind of reputation that invites someone to come into your community and offer you money for your business. They wouldn't buy a business that didn't represent itself well in the community.
Exactly. The love, yeah. So I was building my company up to sell in the millions, okay, which I did that. But then also I wanted nothing but all good rapport. So all my Google reviews were all 5 stars.
Nice.
I did have one that was a 1 star, and it turned out to be another door company that put it on there.
Oh man.
And that's kind of, you don't do that. I'm sorry. You just don't do that. It's bad. It's just, he was jealous. So anyways, but I had all 5 reviews, all 5-star reviews, no matter where I went, Facebook, whatever, all the different sites. Everybody just loved me. And Nextdoor, and I'd advise get on every one of those. Get on Nextdoor, get on Google, make sure you're on top dog on Google and all that. And you could do that without paying a lot of money.
Yeah,
to being up there, and that every customer that I'm going to give you one more little clue. I don't want to say too much because these are secrets that I want to help you guys, whoever is going to be hiring me later, because I want to have a job. I want to work here. But one of the secrets also is every time you do a job, send a thank you letter and a link so they can go and do a review, because most of the time they're going to put a good review as long as you did a good job. Now, if you do terrible work, then of course, obviously, you're not going to want them to give you a review. But I feel in my heart that we took care of each and every customer, is honest in the best way we could without killing them on price. So we were hopefully getting a good review. And sure enough, every review was a 5-star all the way down. And we had thousands of reviews, not just 50. We're probably one of the very few. I think there's only 3 or 4. I looked in the whole United States. There's only 3 or 4, maybe 5 door companies that have over 1,000 Google reviews. They're hard to come by. Yeah. So that's a big plus. So they see that and they're like, wow, this company is up there with their standards. And we all wear nice shirts. We all have nice clothes. And I buy all my guys in shirts so they have nice clothing every day.
There you go. That's how you're the real deal. You're the real deal there.
Yeah.
So, I want to hit on a couple things. So, like you mentioned that your wife was a partner, and she was probably involved and not involved. Every business is a family business. Everyone, whether you've brought them in and they're integral or they're on the sidelines, you have to treat your family and your business like it's a family business, because your business impacts your family and your family impacts your business. And so
totally.
You're going to need counsel and advice and wisdom. And usually we would turn around and seek some, fatherly advice somewhere. So let's not sleep on the fact that we need to recognize that our business is not separate from our family life. And I think that's another just gold nugget. Bill is trying to hold some things back, but he's dropping some nuggets out there for us guys. If we're paying attention, we'll be able to see that. And then the other thing, Bill, 7 figures. We often talk now in 7 figures. Bill was generating 7 figures, and his profitability was awesome, and he was paying things off. Right, and I'm not speaking out of turn here, right? Am I, Bill?
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah, he's able to compensate his team well, able to pay off the assets, the trucks, and what have you, and grow his business and working on his reputation. And right now, here we are. We're at the end of July. We're the very end of July. I think tomorrow's the 1st of August.
That's right. Yeah, it is. Wow.
And in 2023, Google has kind of seen some funny things that they've been doing with their algorithm. And we've seen it a lot because artificial intelligence has come into play. And so, and Bill mentioned, staying at the top of Google. and staying at the top of your community. I want to just throw in some things because we are a marketing company, and your content has now come into play. The content, the unique and helpful content that you provide your community on your blog and on your updates is paramount. But one of the biggest levers you can pull is your reputation and your reviews. Now, Bill mentioned Nextdoor. We're a Google, we're a Nextdoor marketing partner, and
are you okay?
Yeah, highly recommend everybody start taking advantages of some other platforms, because it might be a little bit challenging right now to play the game with Google. They've got some things to sort out.
Yes.
And when we know the playbook, we'll be able to leverage that again. But there's been a lot of confusion on how organic rankings. But our clients that are still focused on their reviews, focused on their content, they're still ranking. They're still in the map pack. So you got to just play the game, play along, and stick to fundamentals. Don't get off in the weeds in terms of let's try this and let's try that, and don't do that. But there are other things like Yelp and Nextdoor that are high intent leads. People on Yelp, they intend to do business, so it's not flaky. Anyway, so if anyone has questions about that, I'd love the chance to talk with you about how to go from here to here with leads and conversions and things like that. And Bill just kind of mentioned that. I don't want to leave that because there's probably a lot of question marks. I didn't want to leave that unaddressed. What else, Bill? What else would you like to?
Marketing is really a big thing. Don't think you can do it yourself. You need somebody. You need a partner like you. You're your company. You need a marketing team. You need somebody like you to come in and help you. You can't do it yourself. There's no way you could do it yourself. If you could, that means you're good at everything. But nobody's good at everything.
Nobody's good at everything. And
we're good in the door business, and that's it. That's why I always make sure I got a good lawyer. When you need a lawyer, you get a good marketing guy that does, like you do all the Googles and all. I would get somebody like you in a heartbeat, because you need somebody like you, because you're the one that's going to pull them in and know how to pull people in and how to get people to acknowledge you're available and you're here. You're available. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that plug, Bill. But we need to treat all of these guys, whether it's finance, our accountants or our attorneys or our marketing guys. These need to be viewed as partners, right?
They're actually partners, right?
Yeah, treat them as team members when the decision making has to come into play, and you'll find your result is so much more positive. There's a book that I've been reading. I've actually completed. I'm reading it again. It's by Tommy Mello, and it's called The Home Service Millionaire. And in there, he talks about how critical it is to find a lead generation partner. And there's so many avenues right now. If you're trying to do it yourself, that can be frustrating because you need to double down on your talent, right? Your talent is building a door company or engaging with customers. But any of these other sidelines, you're just going to stress yourself out and spread yourself too thin if you're trying to do it all yourself.
Totally. You're right. Don't try to. You can't do it yourself. A lot of people try and they think they could. You can't.
They learned that lesson.
I wish I would have known you years ago, but I had somebody very similar to like you, but I just met you recently, Rob, and you've got the same principles, the same ideas as the partner that I had to help me coach my business. Let's put it that way.
That would have been a lot of fun if we'd have met long ago. But
I know. I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do it without it, though.
No.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I really enjoyed our friendship that we've built here, Bill. I do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
What else? What other things do you think you would want to throw out? For guys that are kind of trying to figure out what to do with their business. Any ideas that you want to just any recommendations that you want to throw at guys before we wrap this up?
Sure. Okay. Well, first of all, you want to be honest with the customer. Okay, upfront, honest with the customers. Tell them what you're going to do. Because by meeting of the minds, when you tell them what you're going to do, amount and everything, and do what you're going to do what you're going to say. Don't just say it, do it. Do
what you say and say what you do, and everybody will be happy.
I mean, I have a place in Florida, and I hired a contractor, and I'm laughing, and not laughing, I'm just shaking my head. They don't show up. They don't come. They're going to be late. They don't tell you you're going to be late. They have no respect for the customer. You have to have respect for the customer because they're just like you. And if you say you're going to be there between 2 and 4 to fix their door, be there or let them know because they're human beings and they have a life too. They might have had a dinner engagement that they didn't go to it because they're waiting for you and you never showed up.
Right on.
So
right on. Honesty and transparency, and there you go. That's a good one. I'm gonna pick up one that you mentioned to me, I think before we started the recording. How important is it for a contractor, garage door contractor, to answer his phone?
That's a big one. Oh my God. Well, when you get big, let's face it, it's hard to answer all the phone calls. But I was doing it. And my wife says it was driving me nuts. Yeah, it was, but I wanted to answer every phone call because I wanted to talk to them personally and tell them you'll be okay until Monday. And because of that, they would hold off till Monday. But you know what? Whenever they call, people are speed dial. They call one door company, they'll call another one and another one, until they get one. And in voices, they don't want to hear recordings in their voice. When they hear a person, a human being, that's all you got to do. And you know what? They talk to you for about 2 minutes and they say, okay, thank you. And I'll see you Monday, sir, or whatever. And thank you for answering the phone. And then half of them will tell you, do you know you're the only one to answer the phone this weekend? I called 6 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello. And I got that call because of I answered it. A human being answered it. I mean, it's not the best way to do a business, but can you maybe hire a young girl that'll answer it even, or somebody that wants to work in a weekend, give her the phone and say, here, not an answering service. Answering services are beautiful, but I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I'm against is answering.
There's holes in the answering service bucket. There's holes in that system.
There is.
It needs to be a representative of your company. And I'm just going to throw this statistic out, but 68% of people do business with the first company that answers the phone or gets back to them.
It's true.
And they're going to keep, so if you don't answer the phone, they will keep shopping. If you don't get back to them right away, and there's times when you simply can't get that call, but you need to have a system in place that either texts them back right away. It says, I'm sorry, but I'll call you in 3 minutes. Or somebody at your office will get back to them, or you answer the phone, which is ultimately the best one. Yeah. But it's just shy of 70% of calls will do business with the first person to answer the phone. And what does that say about any business or industry? That why should anyone not get an answer to their call? That's the thing.
Yep.
Cool.
And then here, one more thing for you. Emotion is a big part of our company in the door business. And it's no different than 2 things that I always said to myself, people don't want to do without. Your cell phone. If you left your cell phone at home and you're 10 miles or 5 miles, you drive back home to get your cell phone. Not always, but most people do, because it's like you left your right arm at home.
Yep.
And the other thing is your car. If it's stranded in the garage, people are in a panic.
There you go.
Would you try again?
So without your cell phone and without your car, you feel stranded, and that's what half of the world is all about. Am I right? That's 2 big things,
That's true.
So we're there for them. It's emotional. It's hard to see how many people get so scared when their car is stuck in the garage. That it's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Oh, it is amazing, and I've talked about that. I won't belabor it here, but I have talked about that in our group. That the urgency and the panic that people have, whether they can't get in or whether they can't get out, or whether in the case of like broken spring, the door comes up 12 inches or so and stops. They don't know what's happened, but they know their home isn't secure. They know that they can't get their kids to school or get to work or coming back. So it becomes a panic, and when you handle that right, you become the hero.
Yes, and I became the hero quite often in the state of Tennessee, because if they call and they can't get out, even if I can't fix it, I answer the phone. Even if I can't fix it over the weekend, sometimes I'll say, okay, I'll stop by and for a few minutes, my wife will be with me in the car. I'll get your door open and we'll get your car out and we'll see you Monday. And they're so ecstatic. They go, thank you. So it helps. It helps. It really does.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Well, cool. Well, Bill, we have kept you on here, and you need to be living your retirement life. We've kept you on here for an hour, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to tell your story. And I know that you want to help members of the door and gate industry, and I cannot wait for that time to come. Now, right now, are you taking calls if guys are interested at all in talking or
Yes, you're welcome to call me. I give free advice on the phone because it's part of my love and part of my thing. I do that. But if you want some major information, major advice, and major help, I'd be willing to come out and fly and see your place of business. Of course, I won't do it for nothing, but it's going to be a fraction of what you pay a professional because I'm a one-man guy and I'm doing it more for passion than anything. I want to see you succeed because in my eyes, if I make one more door company succeed, I feel like I succeeded, even if I'm only going to get a little portion of it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And we could partner where you could, because you come in and me, we could make them. We can go.
We could really launch some businesses. That would be awesome. I would love that.
But you're welcome to give my number out because it's I've answered my number all my life. In fact, here, see this here? Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
That phone number?
Yep.
I kept that number. That's my personal house number. I don't live in Chicago anymore, but it's door, DOR.
There we go, guys.
I won't give her that number.
Don't. But guys, Bill has been there and done that, and he has hit that success line, and he's offering to help. Certainly not free. Let's not pretend that it would be, but certainly not at the level of a lot of the consultants that are out there in terms of price. Bill is offering to help you, gain some clarity in your business and get some clarity in your direction and help you start achieving goals. And so I love Bill for doing that. I think the garage door business, but all, business in general, we need people willing to help the younger generation come along instead of cannibalism, which I have seen over and over. The older guys are fine just cannibalizing the younger guys. Bill is not that. He's here to help you achieve and grow and succeed. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. If you guys want to talk with Bill, you've certainly seen the phone number here. You can probably find him, but certainly reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with Bill. So it's been a blast. Thank you very much, Bill. I'm going to let you go with the rest of your Saturday.
All right, Rob. And I'll see you on the boat soon, right?
Yes, it will be soon. It'll be soon. Right on. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. And like I said, advice is free on the phone. I'll be happy to help anytime. Okay.
Awesome. I'll be setting you up. Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.